Hello and welcome to Heroes of the Horn, a Wheel of Time podcast. I am Sir Matt.
And I am Sir Ezra, and today, friends, we have something special for you. We've just finished Fires of Heaven, and we thought we'd take a quick little... There's just tons of stuff, right? There's Wheel of Time news, there's footage, there's trailers, there's teaser stuff, there's Shadow Spawn, Moraine. I could go on and on.
Puzzles. I mean, it's nonstop, guys. So yeah, I guess how do we even get into today's episode? As because it's going to be a little different, and things might be a little different, just for the next little bit, right? Because we're kind of at this weird spot, I think, in the podcast where because we just finished a book and we're less than a month away from the show. I think we're gonna take a quick break from the books until the show's over. Just because if we were like halfway through a book, well, we'd finish. Yeah. But it's just like we're literally like the show's right here, and there's so much stuff coming out for it right now that it's like, how are we going to talk about it all? So I think we are going to continue once the show is over. Season 1 of the show, which I think we mapped it out, ends Christmas Eve, I believe.
Yeah. 24th. Yep.
Yeah. Ends Christmas Eve. Then I guess we'll be kicking off the new year right back into book 6, which is Lord of Chaos, which I'm in right now. And I'm back on track. Let me just say that. I feel, Fires of Heaven didn't do it for me. But I feel back on track here with Lords of Chaos.
Let me say that. I said this to Matt, and I want to say this to anybody who might have been. For some people, Fires of Heaven, amazing book. They love it. It's awesome. But I heard, Matt's concerns and was listening to other people. And some people would totally disagree with the whole Couladin conversation, all that kind of stuff. Whatever. Doesn't matter. The point being, the next book is so freaking good. I love it. I think it's awesome. I just blitzed through it. And I'm already on to the next book as I kind of try to stay ahead of things here. And it's solid. The prologue just gets you going. I know that's where Matt's at right now. It's totally hyped. And it just... Any of you veteran readers who have read the series, you know some pretty huge stuff happens in this. And there's a lot of action. And it's awesome. So I can't wait for everyone to get into that. And we'll probably do the prologue sometime right after, I would say almost... we could probably do that right after Christmas or something like that. Matt and I'll be on break recording and things like that, doing
maybe we'll do maybe we'll even do the prologue and we'll release it early to like patrons or something. But it's just there's just so like today it's almost like they're releasing stuff, by the way. I mean, it's like less than a month out. I feel like you could have spaced this out a little bit and it just would have really helped the people who have no idea what Wheel of Time is. But now it's almost like, gosh, they're releasing literally something every day. And so it's hard to keep up, to be honest, especially like I was gone for the weekend and as is in Germany and stuff. And so now he's back. So here we go. I mean, I'm on the Wheel of Time Twitter, and some of this stuff we actually didn't even talk about in our Fires of Heaven ending. And so now it's like, all right, well, let's go back. So I'm going all the way back here to, man, I have to scroll all the way down to about September 30th. That's when they did that panel. Remember they did that Wheel of Time panel. Yes. And, so really it's like Matt Cotham. We knew he obviously replaced. We'll get to somebody else. But so I'm looking here. I'm on October 7th. So this is something they released. And this is this new sort of photo, which is also the Wheel of Time Twitter's sort of backdrop. It's just kind of cool. Just a photo. We get to see everybody. Just another thing. We get the murder or the fade up there. And just sort of a cool new sort of photo, everything. Then really, I would say the next big thing is October 8th as they release some original music for the show.
Yeah, that was awesome. And we're going to get to some of the other things that they released here in a second. But some of the music, if you go and listen to any of these, there's like a behind the scenes reel, all that stuff coming up. But they've got music attached to it that if any of it is close to what we're going to hear in the show, I'm loving it. I'm thinking it's awesome.
Yeah. And so there is one thing that's official from the show. And I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but it's just kind of cool to finally get it. Some people were asking on this, is this the title sequence? Definitely not the title sequence. What is the single called? It's Al Natio is the name of the track.
Okay.
They don't really say where this is taking place or what this is going to be a scene of, but just sort of kind of cool, really. Then big news here, October 8th, same day, they released a scene, a full on. We have a first actual scene from the show.
Yeah. Okay. We
can do a click through because we didn't do this. We didn't do a click through of this for the for YouTube or the podcast. So I have it actually pulled up here. Okay. And we can do a click through. Actually, if you want to give me screen share, I can make it
doing
easy.
It right now. Yep, doing it right now because I thought the scene was cool and it's, I don't know. I actually have mixed thoughts on it, but it's
right.
Okay,
so the resolution might be bad just because there's a stretched out sort of YouTube, Twitter video. Actually, that's really bad. So I think maybe I don't know. We'll just do this. We'll do it this way. It'd be fine. Okay, so we're in the Wine Spring Inn, man. Some people are hanging out, having fun, chatting. We don't get now. Some of these people we can see in the new footage that we're going to talk about, which shows Tom Maryland, although we don't see Tom Maryland in this. There's Rand in the background. Here's Perrin. There's Tam Althor, Bruce Bolton himself right here. Yep. Pretty cool just seeing everybody hang out. So again, this is probably, I don't know, the 10-minute mark of episode 1, really? This is they're showing up for the first time, right?
Yeah, we're getting everybody kind of meeting together at the wine.
There's
spring,
Egwene. Yeah. There's Rand. Rand and Egwene sort of give each other a look. And from everything we've seen of all this new footage and stuff, I think they're pushing that out. I think they're pushing their romance to early season 2. If I had to take a guess.
Yeah.
Because Elaine was cast. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's what they said, right? At the panel, they were saying that they released 3 images and kind of said we had some casting news out of the Comic-Con panel.
Right. And so Elaine, we know, is going to be cast for season 2. So I think they're going to push that Rand Egwene romance a little bit further. Because again, it sort of ends really about that time. I mean, we don't really get that far into it where they're like, all right, well, I don't really like you. I don't really like you. I kind of view you as a friend. And it's like, to do that in the season, that'd be like episode 3. And it's like, well, hold on, we got to sort of believe this romance a bit. So it's going to get pushed out a little bit further than I think than it really is in the book, but that's kind of cool. So we get that sort of look between them. Here's Perrin.
Yeah.
How'd the ceremony go?
Yeah, which all those images, right? We've seen
what
the
ceremony are they
circle.
talking about?
Yeah, so it's the coming of age situation with the braiding of the hair, and we've seen some
getting
stuff
pushed off a cliff, I guess.
Right. Yeah, getting pushed off a cliff, and then you see her in the water. You see her with the other, looks like the women's circle, kind of meeting around her and basically saying she's come of age. So I guess that's what they're talking about. I would imagine. Yeah. Honestly, Matt, I'm not allowed in the women's circle business, so it's been a secret. It's been a secret for a long time. I just kind of village counsel it. You know what I mean?
So, but it's cool. It's cool seeing him here. So here we get the big entrance, man. So, and immediately Nynaeve knows something's up, right? Looking.
Yeah. Okay. As you talk about this, I just have to say something real quick. We're about to see a really awesome moment here, and then we're gonna see. The tension, it's such a good vibe. So what you're not really, if you're listening and you're watching this, and so I'll go ahead and I'll play some of the audio too, with this as you're showing it, because the vibe, I'll play it underneath us talking. It's like you hear the laughter, the chatter, you hear like the tinkering of glasses and all that kind of stuff, and then like Lan coming in, which is where you're at right now. The boots walking in, silence settles.
It feels very Strider, Aragorn in the Prancing Pony ish.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I wonder where Robert Jordan got that idea.
I mean, right. Yeah. Except for, I love Moiraine, but the way she's announced here, I just kind of Land steals all. It's just awesome.
Sorry. Yeah, it is kind of weird. It is a little, but again, we're again, remember this as any sort of criticisms I think that we may have with this scene is we're seeing it really without context. I mean, we know the context of the book, but you don't really get it until it's sort of framed with the show.
Yeah.
I mean, Nynaeve walks up, name yourself, stranger. I mean, Nynaeve, you're about to have bell time and it's a freaking festival. People are coming in. You want people pouring into your town. That's how you grow the economy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, it is kind of abrupt, right? And she's got that attitude, which is cool. But what's worse? Not worse. Like, again, it's out of context. This is fine. This energy from Nynaeve is I think is awesome. But what Moiraine does next, I was just like, how dare you, Moiraine?
I know that the video's a little sort of jaggy just because I'm doing it off the Twitter account. I think if I had the YouTube want to be a little bit clearer. But look at Tam out the war here, and he's like, I ain't worried.
No.
Yeah.
He's either had enough brandy that he's not worried about anything, or he's just Tam out the door.
Lan pulls it off. And I got to say, I think Lan's costuming looks the best.
Yeah, it's really good. It's
really good.
Yeah.
Again, and he was somebody who we were, when we first saw this, I don't know the actor's name right off the top of my head. When we first saw him, I think I saw what they were going to do with him. Although you and I both kind of said, man, I feel like he's not big enough. Like he's a tall guy, but he's not sort of like he's tall and he's athletic, but he's not like jacked, which I think is how Lan sort of feels in the books. Like like when you think of Lan, he's like, think like Arnold, like Conan, like with the armor on. I mean, that's how he's sort of, I feel like that's how Lan's described in the books, like this just massive dude who's like, but I like the look here.
Yeah, I like him a lot. So Daniel Henney, I think it's Daniel Henney.
Yeah, Daniel. Yeah,
something like that. Just epic. His voice to me and his
is perfect. It's perfect.
It's so good.
He is by far the best casting, I think, hands down. I think he is by far the to me, like what I envision to what we get, hands down casting. And again, I'm not saying any of the other casts are bad or anything. We haven't seen them, but to me, just sort of like, oh, you tell me this guy's Lan, I see it right away.
Yeah.
So's Moiraine. I think Rosamund Pike's casting is good too.
Yeah, and she's good. She is good. But God, it's this line where like Nynaeve asks you a question, like she speaks to her, my lady, can I help you? And she doesn't say a word to Nynaeve.
Right. She walks right past her.
Dismisses her. And I'm like, excuse me?
Do you think show, now remember, show characters and book characters, there's different, they live in a different universe. Okay. We've seen Game of Thrones. We've seen Lord of the Rings. Things happen differently in these universes. Do you think Moiraine knows right then and there? Show Moiraine that Nynaeve has used a little bit of the power.
Yeah, I heard people talking about that and wondering, like, can she sense some of that? And because Nynaeve being a wilder, when is she channeling? When she's angry, when she's a little like her, she's got her defenses up, and here she's in defense mode against this stranger and these group of people. So that is kind of interesting. They could go a different way with it, perhaps, but yeah.
So she walks in. We'll need stable for our horses, and then the ring flashes. The ring,
boom.
Yep.
I said I, baby.
And then immediately it's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, right. Of course. It's funny because now remember in the book, we don't know that she is Aes Sedai. It is hidden.
Right.
We hear a lot about how you have to be careful around Aes Sedai, not listen to what they say or whatever, be weary. And you hear all of that, and then you get to liking this sort of lady, Alice or whatever, who's giving the boys coins.
Some people are looking at her and smiling, man.
Yeah, what's
you look at this. Some people are. Other people are nervous.
Yeah. Back to your drinks. I mean, I felt like there should have been a line there where it's like, "This is Aes Sedai business."
This is Aes Sedai business. Yeah. Right. So cool. I definitely liked that first scene. I got the. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I read it. I got the thing pulled up here. So let's do this. Okay. So then we kind of move on, and then so these characters were not all of these characters were announced. The casting was announced, but who's playing, what characters they're playing wasn't announced. So We have three kind of pictures here. So we have Sierra, I'm guessing Convy, who is going to be playing Elaine, right?
Yeah.
Right here. So this is our Elaine. I know there's another name at the bottom, but that's who took the photo. That's like, that photography person.
Yeah.
That's Elaine. I can totally see her as Elaine, right?
Me too. Yeah.
Right,
sure.
right out of the gate, I totally see her as Elaine. That's a great casting. Then here we go. Now this one, I think. So then the other two characters, you have Natasha O'Keefe and Mira Sile are playing. Rafe says they're two of the most important characters, and I almost think I think it's pretty obvious as to who they are, right? So I believe this is Mira Sile, who's the other actress, right? As if you might check me on that just to be sure.
That's Mira. That's Mira. You're right.
That's Mira
up right now. Yep.
She's got to be Varen Sedai, right? I mean, she's just. I mean, with that, the second I saw this, I was like, oh, she's got to be our Varen. Perfect casting.
Yeah, I was trying to find, and maybe you guys, if you've tracked this down, if there's any leaks or out there as to maybe who this is specifically, but I didn't see any confirmation.
There is no confirmation, but most of the Twitter chat, that's what they're all saying. Is they're all saying Varen without a doubt. That's what almost everybody is saying. Now, when we go to the other actress here, and her name is Natasha O'Keefe, it's like everyone's going in different directions. And again, there is nothing specifically said, but I would say that most people are saying that she is Lanfear / Selene. Now, that is a casting that we've talked about. And I actually almost think she pulls it off. And again, I'm assuming she has sort of like black hair just because of this. It's a black and white photo, but looking at it, for somebody to play Selene / Lanfear, obviously, or the other way around, Lanfear / Selene, you really need somebody, I would say, who's in like late 20s to early 30s. That way they can sort of be young enough to play, or, be like, still look young enough to play Selene, but still then be the right age for Lanfear. So I see it. To me, it's like, oh, I totally get it.
Yeah, I get that. Is there anybody else they're saying? I'm trying to look in the comments there that people are talking about someone different. Lanfear, she has that kind of face that like makes you think,
right,
we could go either way. Like when you see a Selene, if that's Selene, right, who shows up, you're thinking, okay, yeah. If you haven't read the book series, you're thinking this is interesting, it's intriguing, but yet there's something.
There have been some of the people. This person is saying Fael. Another person is saying perhaps Avienda.
To be honest with you, I was gonna say Fael myself, and I thought that would be.
You think so?
I actually could see it. I could see,
and I know that it would be interesting actually because they're doing this sort of diverse cast, right? And isn't Fael isn't she more of a tan skin color?
Yeah,
at least most of the fan art has looked that way, and so then to go the opposite direction, I think, and maybe to get somebody who's.
And again, that's the same thing they said about the Emmons Fielders, right? When the whole thing kind of came out, Robert Jordan's world is there's a bit more.
It's really diverse. It's really,
Yeah, and so people were because the Emmons Field group, it looks very, very different, right? From Perrin to Rand, Rand obviously, but like Matt and Egwene and Nynaeve. That whole kind of company there, just Matt himself compared to Nynaeve and Egwene alone, a lot of different cultures represented.
So some other people here in the Twitter chat are saying, Lanfear seems to be the most common. Somebody else is saying, I just had it. Lanfear and Eliida, perhaps. I don't think she's been cast yet, has she?
I don't know. I don't know. Let me go check on that.
So anyway, so Lanfear. Somebody actually did a poll that got 90 votes, and it was 62% Lanfear. So,
well, here, let me send you something in the chat that maybe you can pull up I'm gonna send you a link here, And see if you can pull this up in a tab. So this was Ariel Burgess did a lot of Wheel of Time concept art for Fail based upon book descriptions, and so you look at her.
Right, she has definitely right. It's definitely she's a little more tan. She definitely seems more not like Middle Eastern, but perhaps even Indian or
they got the raven
something.
Raven black hair type of stuff too. So it just depends, but yeah.
Even sort of that Mediterranean, like, it's just different. Really, all these artists take a totally different kind of take on it. I mean, you could almost go like to tons of different regions to perhaps of like where you're pulling, where you're going to pull from. But again, we kind of have to do this right because it's like we're taking a universe that is not ours, and we're trying to pull it out to make them look the way that we would interpret them based upon our regions and things like that. So definitely cool, definitely interesting. They did this sort of Wheel of Time puzzle thing. I didn't really follow along with that. Sir Jamie and I were talking, and he was like, I don't even know what it is. But ultimately, we did end up
never could complete a puzzle. So
me either. We got this. So here we go. So this is ultimately what it made, was just another sort of cool little poster here, and there's like a cool kind of look at a Trolloc.
Mm-hmm.
No, we've seen them, and we've seen like shadows and vignettes of them, but we haven't actually seen a really, really clear image of one.
Yeah, she's got Moraine's got him by the head there, doesn't she? She's just like dragging him along. I mean,
is that Narg, you think? Or
people were making that joke that poor Narg.
And here's the weave. Here's kind of the power, right? The you can see that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
In sort of a still, and then that is sort of animated stuff there. So as we continue, so then this was another one. Let me start this over. So this was the Shadow Spawn video, right?
It's wild.
Yeah, super cool.
Nightmares on this one, buddy. This is, you see them all kind of, the movement of the Trollocs behind the fade, and that was really cool. It reminded me of the if anyone's ever seen like what?
I was gonna say Lord of the Rings when they're showing you like the Uruk-hai being made. Yeah.
Yes, but also another thing, kind of like it's their movement, just how they move back and forth like that, and just the darkness and their bodies. I don't know, they're all glistening like they're saliva or sweat or who freaking knows what. But it reminded me of the Chronicles of Narnia TV show, actually way back in the day when all of the evil kind of characters are surrounding Aslan, and it's just a little creepy, but it had kind of like an older touch or feel to it. Just
So we only get a few seconds, and so I've seen some people being critical of them. It's hard to see because they're not even
Trollocs?
here. It's the Trollocs. No, I mostly the Trollocs is where I've seen criticism. Some people saying cheap. I don't know. It's hard to say because
I don't know,
because it looks so because it's so dark. It's so dark, and we don't ever really get.
What you want too, though, right? I mean, you want like, you don't want to. The more you can kind of cloak the enemy and make them seem ominous and scary, and just peeking out of shadows.
Exactly, and remember that the Trollocs are their own sort of creature too, And so again, Robert Jordan. I mean, obviously, anything post Tolkien is going to get compared to like an orc, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and so they definitely have some orc-ish going on, but they are still sort of their own creatures. So they're supposed to look like a Trolloc, I guess. But I think it's cooler that the artwork on the books, like the old books, just make it look like guys with horned helmets.
Yeah, and they're way more than that. They're creatures. They each have different kind of animal-like features, a mix of man and animal. Yeah,
because if you look at like the artwork of the Great Hunt, it's just kind of like guys with like horned helmets, is what it almost looks like.
And you listen to read the description, and they're all very different. And they're creepy and dark, and it's.
So I think it's pretty. Oh, here's kind of a cool shot. Yeah, so they are all different. Some might have more kind of like goat features. Some may have more like bear. It's all just they're all different. So I think they're cool. I'm actually pretty pleased with the way that a lot of the creatures are looking.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we got to this one, which is
Let's
epic.
go, baby. Let's go.
Which is the low gain video. Now this one I actually watched once.
Lord Dragon, the Lord. They say the self-proclaimed Dragon Reborn, but I'll just call him what he is, Lord Dragon.
Yeah, there have been false dragons before. And then we get that shot of Matt and Logan just staring at each other, which is so different, right? Because it's supposed to be Rand.
Yeah, the way they set that up is interesting. It's like he's looking at this Taviran versus the Taviran, and I don't know if that's just kind of throw you off or maybe even throw us off a little bit to say, why is he pointing Matt out as someone special when in the books it's clear that he's, Matt's back with the dagger freaking out.
I'll tell you what, we see Logan do a lot more than he does in the books. That's for sure.
Man, let me tell you what. I cannot as Matt and I push forward in the series, Logan is something else. I am so happy with what they're doing with him and his strength and building him up to be this ominous character, breaking out of what looks like he's shielded, right? In that clip, it looks like he's shielded, and he breaks free of that and attacks and kills Aes Sedai.
His strength is more than anything I've ever seen.
Lord Dragon, buddy.
Right.
Fulfill those prophecies.
Hey, he proclaims himself to be the dragon. I mean, hey, he's a male channeler. What else are you supposed to do?
Exactly. So,
okay, so then this was just
that was Robert Jordan's wife
birthday.
Yeah, and she kind of comes on behind the scenes and just they give a little tribute and
they just kind of talk. They don't really show anything. The next thing was so I actually did a full video of this on YouTube. Which this is actually like crazy. So I did a video of this on YouTube. This is like all new footage. It's done sort of behind the scenes. So some of the footage is actually stuff we saw in the trailer, but it is kind of portrayed to us in a different angle or light.
Widescreen edition. Yeah.
No, actually, it's not. It's not widescreen.
No. What I mean is like you get to see beyond. So what we saw.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, you see like the circle, the women's circle. Yeah. You get to see
because a lot of these videos are on. A lot of these videos are on Twitter only. So they are in. By the way, just for whatever, they are only in this sort of like for your cell phone format. So there's not like they didn't release it on like the wheel on even the Amazon Prime YouTube. It's just really short. So we start off and we see the Waygate, which we've seen before, kind of cool, but it's kind of cool again to sort of see it just in a different light. Now, this is interesting as here because over here we can see this army riding, and then here we have a car. So I don't know how the car is going to fit in to Wheel of Time, but again,
there are neither beginnings nor other endings. Is this the future? Is
I mean, bold choice. I mean, it's a bold choice to have the car.
Are they running from the car, or is it in the charge? I don't know.
No. So for those of you guys just listening on the podcast here, if you haven't seen this, it's only like a 20-second. Most of these are, by the way, are only like 20 seconds because they're 30-second. There's 36, second videos, but the last like 10 seconds is just like the Amazon logo. Yep. And so this is all production stuff, so you can see like how they're filming it. But this is pretty cool. I mean, first of all, who gets that cool of a job? I get to drive a car while filming next to this like army on horseback riding out in like the desert. I want that job. That sounds awesome.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I thought the exact same thing. I thought you could tear this bad boy. It's just you sacrifice the car to get the shot.
How do you even get that job? I mean, like, what do you have to have on your resume, and who do you have to apply to? I mean, I started out as a bagger at Kroger. How do I transition that into like guy who drives the car to film the epic battle scene on a horse?
I would just love to be in the back seat, just watching that whole thing go down. Is Rafe driving that car?
Do they have two people, or does somebody? Because he has to be the cameraman.
Wow.
So you'd almost have to have. I don't know. Anywho.
Is it an English car? Is somebody in the right?
We want Ez and I. If it's a two-person job, Ez and I can do it.
We can do it. Ez is a professional driver. I drive. Matt knows this.
I'm great on camera.
You're great on camera. Set. We need to apply.
Were they driving a Volkswagen? That's what it kind of looks like. But anywho, so we see this army coming right and on horseback, and then here they are a little bit closer now. Well, we actually will see white cloaks, but we can't really get a clear picture of the banner here.
Yeah,
And this isn't the white cloaks because they're not wearing white.
Right. So just to get the, it looks like it's black and white, maybe checkered or striped. Yeah. So if folks know, I've not really looked at like comments on this to see if they're. I'm sure someone's broken that down and tried to figure out who we have there, but that would be. I'm imagining that that's up in the Borderlands with some fighting, because you look at the terrain, it reminds you kind of like you're going into the Blight. So
yeah. Hold on, real quick, just one more production thing.
I know, my God.
Look at this dude. First of all, shout out to him wearing his COVID mask while he's in a car in the desert, like more than 6 feet away from people.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate that maybe he's wearing the mask like, to not get the dirt in his mouth. Well, but what is this rig he's driving? It's got like two sort of like, you know, setup things going on there. It's like a dune buggy, and he's got cameras on it and lighting. I mean,
he's leaned over like he's flooring. I mean, I think he's really
you'd have to.
He's got to outrun those. He's got to outrun those horses. That's a sick job. That is freaking awesome.
How does he know though that he has the good? That he has. Well, he's a pro. That's how you know you have a good shot. You just know.
He's pro.
So okay, so here we go. We're walking into Tarvalon here, man. I mean, right there's land. Here's Moraine.
A couple warders on the side. Yeah.
Right. The set looks epic. So I mean, we're going to Tarvalon season 1. I mean, we knew we were going to, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, Alana there and Moraine.
I know. I said Nynaeve in the when I was doing the thing. People totally correct me. Hold on a second. Like I was like, sorry guys, you know. I was doing this thing on the fly. Well, because she wears a similar outfit. There's a shot of her wearing a green dress, and so I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Anywho, but look at Moraine's like headdress. That's different than other shots we've seen her. So this might be new. This can't be New Spring. Is this New Spring stuff? Maybe.
It could be. It also could just be that she goes back and gets different attire, or maybe
attire. Yeah.
Who knows? That's a good question though.
And there's her just talking about it. Okay, so we saw that. So again, this is just we saw this in the trailer. There's that sick camera that they use. Remember, because they did like a downward shot, right? So you can see how they like
the hall of servants here with all the different Ajas and sitters. Yeah.
Now here is that Perrin?
I'm guessing now. What do you think about this? It looks like, you know, when you have like a loss. Yeah, it feels like after the attack, you know, they've lit some candles or something.
Yeah. Now maybe that's not Perrin, but it kind of looks like it. Now he's standing next to somebody. I can't tell who that is. There is a big rumor though, that they are going to be giving Perrin a wife, although you would have to imagine that this couldn't be his wife. But there is a big rumor that they're giving Perrin a wife in like episode 1, so that they like, there's on Reddit, there's a lot of people talking about it, just looking at some of the casting and stuff like that.
Okay.
Some leaks that they're going to be giving Perrin a wife who will die during the Trolloc attack, so that way they can sort of skip over some of the stuff later where it's like, which we read in the last book, Shadow Rising, where like a lot, you know, his like entire family dies, right? Remember, it's like cousins, and they start naming people, and so that's also going to cause him to be sort of more like that anti-violence type thing, as a way to sort of like help carry that too. That's been sort of a rumor. Now, okay, here we go. Boom, this is pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yo, white cloaks. Yep.
Yeah. So, now this is, remember we saw that leak way early, but they had like stuff over their faces, so you couldn't see who the actors' faces were. Yeah. But we saw this, so now we get to see it. I don't know. How do you feel about it? How do you? Because in the all the art is really there. They feel more like they're guys who, in a way, it's almost kind of like the Kingsguard in Game of Thrones, where they wear like that solid like white armor with like you know, gold capes, you know, white with gold capes and stuff like that. That's kind of what the fan art has always looked like. But here, it's almost more of like, to me, it makes it, I would use the word religious zealot is how I feel when I look at this.
Yeah, which is, so they definitely played that up, and I'm wondering if this is just them out of armor, if like at some point they could armor up a little bit, because I always imagine them in more armor than what we see here. But also, who would challenge? I think there's that arrogance to the Children of the Light, where it's like, no one's touching us, and if you do, you're a dark friend, etc. So I don't know. I mean, I think they look really cool though, and they stand out, and people, it's easily going to grab an audience's attention and say, who are these people?
I like what they've got on the horses. It's all uniform, but again, I'm with you. It doesn't seem like their outfits are actually that protective. It's kind of weird because here they have this sort of shoulder plate
kind of panel,
and it's like that would protect you against stuff, but then the rest is just sort of cloth armor. So I don't know. It's cool to see it, but I need to see a little bit more. Here we get a shot of Rand, Shadar Logoth, maybe when maybe they get a little separated or something.
Hey, can you go back to that shot real quick? I just want, because I'm just looking at potential future cosplay Halloween, costumes. That looks like I could pull that off. That's a bathrobe over a blue t-shirt,
right?
With khaki pants.
Right,
I'm loving it.
Okay, now here's pretty cool, and I like the way they do this, where it's almost like they clip two totally different clips together to make it seem as if it's like one thing. So we see Moraine. Obviously, this is where she's going to use the power to flip probably a Trolloc away. And then it cuts to the shot of somebody else. And I think we saw this in the first trailer where this is Logain doing this, pushing somebody else, throwing somebody else into a brook. So that's I always like to do that. Here's sort of a drone shot of Emmons Field, presumably the morning after. Yeah. Because there's a lot of bodies and stuff out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so here, here's that shot again.
Well, in this scene, so you've got like Alana and the warders, and there's some attack happening, which people have not really yet figured out. Maybe it's Logain and his men or something. But I've been watching, when I broke this down, it looks like later on in the sequence, in the same set of trees or forest or whatever, like Lan is also there, and maybe Nynaeve.
Right. And so that's why I think I said it in the thing, and people were jumped all over me for that, which is fine. And then we get a shot here too, and here's Lan riding. It's kind of hard to tell exactly who that is that's behind him.
Yeah.
I can't tell if it's a male or female. It almost looks to me maybe like Matt.
Oh, maybe it could be. It could be, yeah.
Because as he gets a little bit closer, again, this is from a Twitter video, so it's not really like the most high resolution. Then we get a shot of Moraine. Rafe's talking. See, look, because right here, that is Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Wearing almost but she's got a green sort of like coat, not like a green dress. Yeah. And then this door breaks open, and then the big one here. This is the one we've been waiting for.
My God. By the light, this man looks epic.
Tom Maryland looks awesome.
Yeah. He is the gleaming, he's got, look at the rough
guitar, right?
Yeah.
Because Tom's one of my favorite characters, and I think he's going to be far more prominent in the show than he actually is in the book. I've actually been genuinely surprised, by the way, of how far we've gotten to this and just how little of Tom there is. Because when you've told me and other people have told me about the series, everyone always talks about how much they love Tom, and I figured he'd be a far more prominent character.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. I also wonder too, with music being a big deal, and then Game of Thrones, whenever there was a good song or something you could cover, or Lord of the Rings, Pippin doing his song, I'm wondering if like Tom Maryland's that guy who is going to give us some performance in season 1, like one big takeaway where people are covering it and it's awesome. I'm hoping we get something like that in these taverns, because remember, Matt and Rand kind of tutor under him for a little bit, right? Apprentice and stuff. So
anyway, it looks epic. He doesn't have, obviously, we knew he wasn't going to have like the multicolored coat, but I like his look a lot. I like it. It still seems, even his coat, right? Even though it's sort of like a matted down coat, looking at the way everyone else has been dressed and stuff, it definitely seems like something else nobody has. Like nobody else is wearing this sort of style of clothing. So I really like it. And I like his look too. I like that they've because we've seen so many I don't have the guy's name in front of me, the actor, but we've seen sort of pictures of him, and he's in some of his like headshots, he's got sort of like slicked back hair, and so now here we get to see it where it's a little bit longer. I like that it's colored. They aged him up almost, because Tom, all the artwork of Tom seems like somebody who's in his like late 60s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, his like, and so here I think they again, to me, I was like, wow, once we finally got to see him, I'm like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I can't wait to hear him talk
And
and all of it.
out of the main cast, there's really only two people we've yet to see now. Like initial main castings, we've still yet to see Loyal, and we've still yet to see Padon Fane.
Yeah. Padon Fane. Holy
And
smokes.
I think we're gonna get both because they're releasing stuff like every day now. So there's a lot, but super cool. Again, some of this is behind the scenes. So I actually don't think this shot right here is. I think it's a behind the scenes shot
Of Rand hugging Egwene.
Yeah, I actually don't think. Just if you look at, I actually think that's just them.
Sure.
I don't think that's it. And then this is obviously shot because there's a camera in front of it. And I knew flipping her hair. There's gonna be a lot of that, I'm sure. Here we go. Wine springing a little bit. Now this is kind of cool.
Right.
This has got to be Elaine's sort of trial. Remember, we saw her in the pool, but now we get to see that there's all these other women around her.
Yeah, and they're all holding those vases or whatever, those to like almost pour the dye or the ink or something into this, which is cool. So it's a circle of women, right?
Right.
The women's circle, and she's coming of age. I'm guessing. So.
That I saw some people say that this shot right here is probably actually the closest we're going to get to sort of the cover of Eye of the World. Remember how you get to see them all riding next to each other? And because here you start with, here's Moiraine, and then they're all there. And so that might, then Egwene's right there. Then there's Matt, and then it looks like Lan's in the rear. So maybe that's sort of that shot that we get.
From the book cover, you mean, right?
From the book cover of Eye of the World. Right. Yeah. Right. Egwene getting pushed in. Here's a shot thing. This is pretty cool. Look at Moiraine's face. She's ready to go.
Yeah. Looking sick. Yeah.
And that's it.
All right.
And then I think what else do we have here? There's some new photos today, and then that's pretty much it. So these will actually be much clearer. So now here, look, we actually see the gold. The gold on the shoulders. This is a white cloak photo,
right? So that I think that's Jeffrem Bornhold.
Yeah,
kind of that like commander figure. So he stands out with the shoulder pad being gold, and then you see the guy with the silver behind him,
right?
Like a second.
They look good, man.
They look cool.
It's not really again. It's not the route that I guess they do actually have plate. I mean, that looks to me like that might be plate even
covered by cloth, which is.
Covered by cloth. Yeah. So it's, you know what I'll say? It is a very unique look to it. It's one of the things that I actually liked. Lord of the Rings didn't really have to do a lot of sort of like armor and stuff like that. That's sort of unique to it because Lord of the Rings sort of invented, right, all of these looks, or at least borrowed them from old, what they actually wore in medieval times and stuff like that. But Game of Thrones uses a lot of different sort of real world styles and armor, right, with leather and plate and all this stuff, and it sort of created its own look and feel. And I think now that we're actually finally getting to see the Wheel of Time coming together, this is what we've been saying for months. It looks like it all fits, but it's a very unique look here on the white cloaks.
Well, and so you think about, like, instead of them having a shield so that their sword arm is not armored, like their right hands are that side is not armored up. This is totally just to block a sword, and it's almost more less clumsy than maybe holding up a shield.
Right, because they've got a gauntlet. I mean, that's a leather, it's certainly leather with probably some plate over it. So I mean, yeah, you could definitely sort of block something. It's a cool look, man. It's kind of reminds me of the White Power Ranger a little bit with the white and the gold and but it's pretty cool. Here's just Moiraine looking at the Waygate. So super cool. Good to go in here. Boom, the red Aja.
Gosh, the Reds, get them out, man. They're going after Logain, obviously, because a man can't channel, right? Not allowed to. False dragon, got to go take him out. but they look cool.
Boom. Then right here.
Yeah, Swan.
Swan.
Yeah. Yeah, the Armorland seat just chilling out there.
Her outfit looks super cool too. Then she's got this tattoo going on here. She's got the ring, the colors too. I like that she's got sort of all the colors here, but they're a little faded. Oh, right. So it makes it seem, like worn. This dress looks worn, but still sort of new and still regal. And I like that the seat she's in, right? It's still sort of pristine, right? But you can see where it's like weathered a little bit and got some age to it. It's just cool. They have done a very good job at crafting a unique look to itself.
Yeah, it almost looks like I'm not sure that whether the Armorland seat channels from that actual chair, but if there was a lot of channeling going on over the years, then maybe it could affect the finish on that seat. Kind of cool.
Yeah. And so that's it. So that's I believe that is all of the. Wait, what was this? Oh, yeah, this was the thing this is another thing they posted today, which is just sort of close-up shots of the just of them, so you can look a little bit more at their costuming.
Well, and so this is where if you listen to the music on this, sounded really good. The music on just this clip alone was more like cosplay. Right. Tag us in your cosplay, show us what you got, and they zoom in and kind of give you a really good look on everyone's costume.
Yeah.
So
this is all obviously set stuff, so you don't, but I don't think there's really anything new, but yeah, it's cool.
It's awesome.
Logan, my God, man, he looks so good.
I wouldn't mess with him. I would not mess with him. Yeah. Gosh.
It's cool. We're here, man, and it's great. We've been wondering for a long time, what's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? We were waiting for, forever for that first trailer. Now we've got it, and now we've got so much more to go off of. It's sick.
Yeah, and guys, so if you haven't had a chance, and whether you're on Twitter, Instagram, they've got accounts for all of this, but at the Wheel of Time is now hardcore, as Matt said, just dropping some of these, photos. They're well into season 2. They're doing their thing. I did not get a chance to watch all of the Comic-Con panel just because I was in Germany, had to kind of purchase it. I know it's out now and we can go watch it, but we'll probably, if you guys have any thoughts, want to send us a pigeon on that or anything that was said there, I think that'd be kind of cool to talk about later. But you think we're going to be getting, we still have about a month, right? So
yeah, I do believe that we will get, they've made it seem like we're going to get a full second trailer.
Okay.
Which I would imagine you release at this point. So as of today, today is the 19th when we're recording this. And it's the 19th of next month. So, they're 31 days, I don't know the saying, but so we're 31 days away, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Since this month has an extra day, maybe, I don't know. I wasn't so good at math, but something like that. Right.
Right.
Anywho, we're a month away, and I would imagine that you would drop that. You drop it with 1 week or 2 weeks? I almost feel like you drop it with 1 week, and then it's like, hey, here you go. This is the show. It's coming next week.
Yeah, and I remember when we were kind of struggling with all of the how are things promoted, how is it marketed, or whatever, and I looked up someone. It was Adam Whitehead again from Dragon Mount, said that this has been a thing. It's like a tactic by Amazon to try to go at this like right last minute, get everybody kind of on board and throw everything you got right in there right before. So I'd say probably the week before, and say you don't have to wait that long. Just wait one more week and this bad boy's out. So
this is when I would do it. Now I would drop it November 11th. Because that's a Thursday. That's the Thursday before. Because remember now NFL is on Prime for the rest of the season.
Okay, yeah.
The majority of the rest of the season, but you can watch Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Because that's, they do that a lot where it's like, hey, they drop trailers on Monday Night Football and stuff like that because you have a lot of people watching. That's when I drop it. I would drop it during what's that game? Let me look it up. Is it a good one?
We hope so, because again, Matt and I want everyone to come freaking watch this show, and there's a bunch of people who haven't even,
So let's see here. So the Thursday night game, what would that be? That would be November 11th is it's kind of crappy. Well, it's Ravens Dolphins. Drop it right then and there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Probably be a blowout because the Dolphins sucked this year and the Ravens are really good. But
which means people can go search for what is Wheel of Time.
Exactly.
And that's
after Lamar Jackson's taken over the game by the first quarter. So that's when I do it. I drop the trailer right then during halftime or whatever.
Yeah. That's cool. It's nice to know we don't just have this month, and like we said, we got 3 episodes coming out right out the gate on the 19th. So,
and I took the day off work.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so we did want to kind of mention just some podcasting sort of updates here and things that are going on. We'll be doing like a Zoom hangout, and we'll be doing some stuff for that. So if you guys are over our Heroes of the Horn over on patreon.com/the Horn of Valir. The link's down in the description. You guys can click on that. But for folks who support us over there, we are definitely having people on the show. And Matt and I, for those of you who follow us on like Bend the Knee and Hyperspace Hangout and some of our other projects, we're big fans of reading your comments on the show and your pigeons, ravens, we call them on other projects, but we love to get your thoughts, and I think it's just kind of cool to get that, build that community. We've read a few of them here during the reread. We read YouTube comments, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be real exciting to see what people come up with.
Yeah, exactly. And so we did this thing over on our Game of Thrones podcast called Follow Up Friday, where we basically would just read, people would send us, we've done this before where we've read pigeons, right? We call them ravens over there, where we, at the end of the show, hey, we'll read something, a question or a comment that people send us. But same thing that's probably going to happen over there. We just had so many that we had to do a full episode just on answering people's questions and comments. Now, I don't think we can do Follow Up Friday for this because I think the episodes release on Friday. So maybe we'll call it Wheel of Time Wednesdays, and we'll do it. Yeah. We'll do it on Wednesdays. We just do maybe we do it on YouTube, just a hangout. Live stream hangout. That way we can get everybody's questions there live and just sort of go off of it, and then we can post it on iTunes, Podbean, or iTunes, Omni, all of the places that you can listen. Podbean still is a place you can listen, and so you get it there too if you can't hang out with us live on there. But then again, we'll probably also do live reactions on that Friday as well. So
yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Wednesdays will probably be our predictions, and Fridays will be, because even though we sort of know what's going to happen, we still don't know just how far they're going to go or things are going to be different. I mean, just looking at all the footage we've seen so far and the castings and everything. I mean, Elaine's not even showing up until season 2, but we might get into Great Hunt content in season 1. So how do you blend her in?
Well, one of the things I'm impressed with so far, like I was watching the Dusty Wheel, and shout out to that channel and that podcast. Great show. And I love going there because he's been doing it for a long time. But I'm in there, and we're fans of other content creators, and we hope you guys, if you find something like an Easter egg, God, that excites me. I love to go in there and find something or hear somebody point something out in a trailer that you missed, right? I initially watched that scene with Egwene where she's going down having her ceremony. Did it dawn on me at all that the women were actually forming a circle? No. I was like, not even close. Gosh, like you don't have to sit. That's where you're showing, not telling directly. It's that indirect sort of setup, and those are the Easter eggs that I'm glad they're putting in there, and we can search for those and find layers. You want layers to your show, and you want things that are going to hint or foreshadow at something to come. Things will be different. Matt and I think maybe whether it's extended edition or whatever, we're going to talk about how things are actually going to be drastically different, and they're making some big, I think, alterations in this adaptation that are game-changing. There are things people don't like about the book series, and even plot lines that ended in a way that, Robert Jordan passed away and didn't finish the series. Brandon Sanderson came in. There are notes and things where people think we could maybe go in different directions. It won't surprise me at all if we get like Matt says, a show verse.
And you're right, and there will be things that are different. So just using I'll use Game of Thrones as an example again, just because it's one we're more familiar with. But in season 1 of Game of Thrones, there are conversations that happen that do not happen at all in the books, but I actually kind of like them. I think they're cool. I think they help explore the characters a little bit more, build them up. You can kind of save some time to, because you don't have chapters and chapters to sort of do this. And I there's things I like that I think are cool. And then there's, even looking at Harry Potter, as they're in Harry Potter, I'll just use this as an example.
Yeah.
In Half-Blood Prince, which might be as and I's both favorite movie, just because of good old Professor Slughorn. At the end of that, spoilers, if you're unfamiliar with Harry Potter, in the book, Dumbledore can't apparate out of Hogwarts, right?
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Can't.
Nope. Hogwarts is too powerful. But then in the movie, well, I kind of can. And I like both. I actually like both.
Yeah, they're cool, right? So when you can go either with one way, like either you amplify the castle Hogwarts or you amplify that character Dumbledore, if they're both really cool things that fans like, and the fandom is sort of like, I could go either way. It's actually, especially if the author had multiple notes or thoughts saying this could go one way or the other, but you eventually have to put it down on paper and decide a course of action and drive the plot in that direction and use it. So the movie or the TV series, whatever it is a chance to do something different. And
right.
I say go for it.
Maybe the TV show will show Matt versus Cooladin, and it'll be epic. And I'll be like, okay, cool, I've got it. And then maybe we'll have less circus chapters. I don't know, and then there's going to be stuff that they add in that's like totally different, stuff they cut out. People are going to get blended. So
I'll tell you,
as long as it's good, at the end of the day, as long as it's good, really, that's what people care about. And I'm going to tick some people off here. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you,
okay.
And you're a Lord of the Rings guy, and I love the movies. The percentage of people that are really the super diehard Lord of the Rings people that refuse to that are like, the movies are atrocious. That's like 0.1% of the total amount of people who are fans. Mm-hmm. So don't let those people get to you. And I guess if you want to be one of those people, that's okay too. But just we'll take the TV series for what it is. It cannot obviously be a perfect adaptation if the books are just too big, but there might be some stuff that you're like, you know what? I like this more.
Matt, let me tell you something.
That's okay.
I'm 100% with you. But there's one thing that's not changing. Okay. That girl that Rand tried to revive
with Calendor, she's dead.
That is, if they
dead or a doornail.
If they change that, Matt will throw an absolute fit, and he's not even a book fanatic.
I know. As and I no longer even say the phrase "deader than doornail." We say "deader than that girl Rand tried to revive with Cal." There's nothing he could do.
Guys, it's not even. It's just like Matt has turned it into this thing that is just like Calendor. You can't do it. That Calendor has limit. Rand, you have limits, but right. I mean, good God. I don't know. It's gonna be great. I'm just excited to see what they do. The changes and the differences, and that's what we're gonna be covering too. So when you send us your pigeon or you send us some communication, we'll read it. We will read it. I check the email all the time. I check our Twitter DM box there. We're gonna be on. I've been talking to Matt Hatch actually from the Dusty Wheel about some stuff coming up, and he has a lot of guests on there. He's got a live call-in show. We love the whole community. Wheel of Time has a really good fan base and people who want more people to come in and enjoy this and consume it and talk about it, because it's a lot of fun. It's 14 novels. It's a huge world. There's tons of good characters you can get attached to, and they have their ups and their downs, and it's awesome. So we'll look for those Easter eggs, and we'll talk about predictions, changes, all that kind of stuff coming up in once the show is released. So make sure you send those and check them out, and the extended edition will be lit as well. So
absolutely. So, all right, guys, I don't have my script in front of me, but I think we end the episode like this as, hey, I want to thank you for listening to Heroes of the Horn. And our next episode, we will be discussing more show news, possibly that full second trailer, but they're releasing so much stuff. it's who knows what we're going to be talking about. The wheel, it just weaves as it wills. Okay, and so that's what we'll be talking about again. So just remember, we are taking sort of just a quick little breather from the book, just because the show is here in less than a month, and we only record sort of twice a month, except for when the show's out, when we record possibly twice a week. Well, definitely twice a week.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, friends, thanks so much. We'll be back. Matt's got us queued up a good extended edition for us, so we'll be back with that. And as always, remember that the grave is no bar to our call.